Well, good morning. You are tuned into Radio Zine here on KBOO Community Radio. I'm your host, Jenny Yokoyama. If you're a resident of the Lents neighborhood, you might have already seen members from the group the Southeast Renters in Action conducting their Tenant Rent Impact Vulnerability Research Project, which is a door-to-door canvassing effort that's conducting a research survey, talking with renters about their rental housing needs and concerns. Here today to discuss this project is Marih, Alyn, Claire of the Southeast Renters in Action. Welcome to Radio Zine, Marih.
Hi, good morning. Thank you. How are you?
Doing good. So can you tell us about this project? What is this survey that you're conducting in the Lents neighborhood right now?
Well, it's a rent impact vulnerability study, and it came out of last year after they passed Senate Bill 608, and which gave a 7% plus CPI rent cap. And this helped people that were at the 50% MFI to 80% MFI and above. But we're very concerned about tenants, like, for example, in this neighborhood, are very low income, and we have a lot of seniors and people working at these very low income jobs like fast food restaurants and nursing assistant kind of thing. And we have people that are immigrants. We have people from all different cultures and backgrounds here. It's a lot of black, brown, and yellow folks. And a lot of them, have language barriers and other barriers to finding housing and this kind of thing. And so we wanted to really do an in-depth look at how people in our neighborhood are impacted by the rent situation and their other needs. For example, like, how stable are they? Have they been over the past 4 years with the rent hikes that went, people were getting rent hikes of, $300, even up to $1,000 a month that I've talked to. And a lot of the organizers, like myself in the housing arena, we've interviewed folks and they've been struggling. And so we want to find out, even though we have like Senate Bill 608 passed, but where are you in that? Can you really afford the rent at virtually a 10% cap? So we're going door to door. We're with Portland State University, the Social Work Department and the Urban Studies Department, Dr. Lisa Bates, who's very excited about this survey, and Dr. Thurber from the Social Work School is there. We have a student, Haley Wood, who's also part of she's a student at the School of Social Work. And then the Community Alliance of Tenants, Pam Spann over there, she's part of it, and we're just really concerned about the housing experience of our neighbors here in Lents. And this is one of the lowest income neighborhoods in the city, and it has a high population of different immigrants and people of different cultures. African American folks, people from Africa, we've got Russians, we've got Hispanic people, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think it gives a broad spectrum of the different types of groups and populations of renters, and we thought that would be, a good place to start. Dr. Bates is very excited, as I am, and the team, other members of the team, and we're hoping that this research project can extend city and statewide.
Yes, I was going to ask you once this survey is done, will the information be available for the public to see the statistics that you collected and even some of the feedback?
Yeah, exactly. The research team, Dr. E. Server's office, she's in charge of the research end of it. She has an extensive background in community housing research, and so does Dr. Lisa Bates. So they're going to be handling that with the Community Alliance of Tenants. So we're going to share this information with the community, and it will be made available. And like I said, we will have a public meeting, and people can come out and meet the research team and meet canvassers, and we can talk to folks and have dialogue.
Have you been in a conversation with the city or state leaders about the survey? And I'm just sort of wondering if how responsive people have been to the results of previous studies you've done or about this upcoming study you're doing.
Well, we're getting it off the ground this week. It's happening this week. So we're going to be, as we gain momentum, we're going to be talking to the powers that be in the city and state leaders and that kind of thing. And then when we get it all wrapped up, ready to present, then we'll be going directly and presenting it to them, and as well as to the community at large.
What are some of the most prominent concerns that people want their city leaders especially to be hearing right now about what is still the rent crisis?
Well, the first thing is the rent. The system that we have of this exponential curve of rent going up constantly, right? And even, 10%, which even some of our leaders said that was too high, but come back next year and we'll try to get it down or whatever. They were just trying to pass something this year. And so the main concern is keeping people housed. And the problem is people that are making $60,000, $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year, they can stay housed a lot longer than people who are making $0 to $2,000 a month. And most people on Social Security, like myself, are not even making that much. We're around about half of that or so. And so the problem is with people being displaced multiple times, people who are now on a fixed low income, people who have lost their job, maybe a single parent, maybe an ill parent, or household heads of households who are dealing with a lot of medical challenges or whatever. I know too many people personally who have lost their housing, became homeless because of medical issues. So one thing that we want to point out, it's not just, when we pass a 10% rent cap, that's going to be a safety net for everybody, because it's not. It's missing the lower income folks, and it's also missing people with special needs, disabled people. There's very little housing that they can get into. People with low income, people with disabilities, et cetera, et cetera. And the other issue is people that have barriers to housing. Maybe they got credit because they didn't pay a lot of their loans or other bills that they had on their credit cards because they were paying 80% of their income in rent. So, we want to sit down and talk to lawmakers that you have to consider more than just one element when we're talking about, well, if you're paying 30% of your income for rent, well, that's okay. But if you're only making, $1,400 a year and your medical bills are sky high, and they raise your rent $50 a month, like I know some places are getting $50 raises every year, then you're out. And I've sat with seniors who are just crying the blues because they realized, and in fact, I was at a meeting in Gresham, and the whole table of seniors said to me, we are the next homeless. So these are the people that I'm very concerned about, the people that I went to the mobile home park and actually did some of their budgets and realized that they were, after the second sale of the place, the property went up in rent considerably, and folks were underwater. So we need a broader system. We need to deal with different populations different, and not just one size fits. So this is why, I brought this up to the Portland State Social Work Department, to Dr. Thurber and to Haley Woods, the student, and Dr. Lisa Bates. And this is why Community Alliance of Tenants and all of us at Southeast Portland Renters in Action are very excited about doing this work and getting out this summer and talking to our neighbors.
Well, if people want to learn more about your research project or how to get involved, what is the best way for them to do that?
One way is to call Pam Fan. She's doing the training for it, and she can talk to you about it. Her number is 971-310-1760, and her email is pam@oregoncat.org. Southeast Portland Renters in Action, they can call me at 503-343-4299. Alyn Claire with an E at yahoo.com. And they can contact Dr. Amy Thurber at the School of Social Work at 971-258-0412. And her email is athurber, ATHURBER, at pdx.edu.
And we'll have all that information listed for our listeners on our website, if that's okay with you.
Oh, please. Yes, please. Thank you.
Well, we are just about out of time today. And just one quick question in our last minute here. Is there anything I didn't ask you about that you really want our listeners to know?
Well, I want renters to realize that, we're all in a very serious situation right now, all of us, and especially folks at the lower income level. And so it's very important that renters understand their rights. They understand a lot of these ordinances, they're like a moving target. Things keep changing. There are going to be a lot of updates on the application process that came out of the city council, the folks that passed. And so we want to keep people updated. And so I want to encourage people to get involved with Community Alliance of Tenants, get involved with Southeast Portland Renters in Action, come to our forums. We're up on Facebook, and so I'll keep putting notifications up there and that kind of thing. Call that number that I sent out. You can get topics if you want to suggest a topic and that kind of thing. I'm hoping in the September, for the September forum that's coming up, that we talk about the new application process that just got passed, and so people are in the know. There's just so many things going on all at one time that it's really hard to keep up. So we have to be organized. We need to be talking to one another. If you get in trouble, it looks like you're going to get behind in your rent, and you're going to end up houseless or having to move really fast and that kind of thing. Please call Community Alliance of Tenants. And so when we come to the door, we're going to have this other kind of a tool package. So please feel welcome to take that tool package and utilize it, because that's part of why we're doing that.
Well, we're all out of time for today, but if you missed any of this interview and you would like to hear it again, you can hear it on Radio Zine's program page at KBOO.FM or on iTunes and Google Play. I'd like to say thank you to my guests today, Marih Alyn Claire of the Southeast Renters in Action, for speaking with us today. Thank you, Marih.
And thank you so much.
And for KBOO Community Radio, I'm Jenna Yokoyama. Thanks so much for tuning in.